Mark Stoneman completed his second century of the summer while other Durham batsmen scored 50s as Durham all but batted through the penultimate day of their LV County Championship match with Somerset in Taunton. The home side had the edge at the start of the third morning, with Durham needing a total of 309 to avoid the follow-on, resuming their first innings on 163 for 3, having lost a pair of wickets late on the second day. Stoneman restarted his innings on 78 and it took him only 25 minutes to convert that into a three-figure score. A comfortable single got him there off his 160th delivery, and comfortable was the word to describe his knock. He'd started off quickly before getting his head down and having few issues in getting to his milestone. He struck 16 fours and he's a man in very good touch right now. He'd been joined at the start of the day by Ben Stokes after Will Smith's dismissal to the last ball of the previous evening. He'd survived a big appeal for a catch behind off George Dockrell early on, but once settled, he played in his usual attractive manner. It was a lovely day to bat in, the sun beating down in Taunton, and this pair made the most of that as they added 73 runs in the first 20 overs of the day. You may have noticed there that opening bowler Peter Trigo had unusually turned to bowling off spin, something I'm not aware of him doing before. It worked though as Stoneman drove him out of the rough to give Craig Macheda a catch. Stoneman was gone for 122, but Stokes remained and went beyond the 50 mark with one of his favourite shots, a perfectly timed drive over long on for a 6. Stokes had also struck 6 fours in his 70-ball half-century. He looked set to pile on the runs quickly now, but instead, just before lunch, he mistimed a shot off Dean Elgar and swung the ball to Errol Sapire at mid-off to depart for 57. He went with the follow-on still not yet avoided, although Durham were close to doing that, and the 300 was soon reached after lunch, with Phil Mustard going on the attack. This was the second of his 6s, an easy one really off Dockrell as the keeper raced to 30 off only 34 balls, the follow-on knocked out of the equation in the process. Mustard was timing the ball so well that it also cost him his downfall, as he turned this delivery from Jamal Hussain off his legs with a minimum of effort, but still found Sapire in the deep. The game could still have gone a number of ways at this stage. Now on 324 for 6, as Michael Richardson joined Paul Collingwood, Durham was still 134 runs behind, so a host of wickets now and Somerset would still have been in a very good position. But if these two could stick together for a while, then Durham could yet build themselves a decent first innings lead to again put their hosts under a little bit of pressure on the final day. There was still something in the pitch for the bowler who worked hard, as Jamie Overton did here. But there were also runs to be had for the visiting batsman. Richardson batted really well in his first appearance of the season, reaching what was only the 4th half-century of his career, one which used up only 63 deliveries. He got there with successive boundaries off Dockrell. Richardson was then given a life as Alex Barrow, standing up to the stumps, dropped a thin edge which went into the gloves and straight back out again. Collingwood's 50 was a more workmanlike one, occupying 119 balls with 6 fours included, but it was an important knock as he was by now taking his side close to Somerset's total. This pair, well, Richardson mostly, scored at such a rate that Durham were able to pass 400 in time to earn maximum batting bonus points, something that their hosts had not been able to achieve. Indeed, in 29 overs together, these two put on 101 runs to take the total to 425 and Richardson to within 3 runs of his career best. But then he got in a right mess in the calling with Collingwood. There were several yeses and many nos before Overton completed the run out to see Richardson gone for an excellent 70. Collingwood and Mark Wood then took their side to within 7 runs of Somerset before the latter edged Overton to a well-placed James Hildreth to depart for 20. 5 runs later, and Ryan Buckley helped a short ball from Hussain to Macheda, who'd just been placed at long leg for that very shot. But it took the home side some 40 minutes to then claim the last wicket as Graham Onions and Collingwood took their side ahead with a rather frustrating stand as far as Somerset were concerned of 37. Balls went in the air but not to hand, and it all started to get just a little too much for Overton, who ended up on the ground on his follow-through. Finally, Hussain bowled Collingwood off his pads for 70, as Durham were dismissed in the 135th over for 493, which gave them a first innings lead of just 35. Marcus Trescothick and Nick Compton safely negotiated the 4 overs that remained in reducing that deficit to 28 runs, but with only that to choose between these two teams as we move into the last day, another draw seems inevitable.